Welcome to Dead Betty's Garage. I'm Brandon. Today we're going to be working on our 1969 Camaro. We're going to be replacing that FiTech throttle body fuel injection with a Killshot II throttle body fuel injection to update it so we can get more tuning, more performance, and just a more enjoyable running car. So I'm going to get into teardown. Now on our Killshot II system, we have gone with the magnetic pickup distributor, so the ECU can control all the timing for this car, which will be super low maintenance, and it should be very good for day-to-day driving, so we can get in, enjoy this car, not have to worry about it. Now, I installed this FiTech the year that FiTech actually started coming out with these and producing these. I haven't had very many complaints about it, honestly. It runs pretty well most of the time. As of late, it's been acting up really kind of sporadically. Sometimes it runs really good. Sometimes it barely even runs. So, but with that, it is old. The ECU is part of the throttle body, so it sees a lot of heat. And another large factor, I believe, is that we haven't utilized this car near enough in the last 3-4 years. We've maybe drove it once a year, maybe twice a year, and the battery drains down, it gets jumped, we go for a ride, have fun, come home, and then it sits for months. The battery drains down, and that is hard on electronics. Whether it's a laptop, whether it's an iPad, doesn't really matter. Whether it's an ECU in a car, it is hard on electronics. So we're starting to go back together with our Aces fuel injection. So the hardest thing I'm trying to figure out is, so we have vintage air in this car, so there's very, very, very little room underneath the dash. I'm trying to figure out the best place for the ECU. I kind of wanted it inside, but there's just nowhere I can figure out where to put it. So I'm probably gonna have to put it, thinking maybe over here on the driver's wheel well. Just mounting the coil and then figure out where we have room for everything from there. So I just have the coil just in with one screw with it was already a hole there, so. And then I can lay out the wiring harness and figure out where everything needs to be and how much length I have to go for all the sensors and back to the ECU. So hopefully it won't be too bad. Kaiden's, we didn't have quite enough room to run the ECU over to this driver's side fender. The wiring harness was a little short, and I didn't want to make a ton of connections to get to the battery and ignition on, and have a bunch of splices and connections. So he's mounting that on the passenger wheel well. I'm getting ready to put in the distributor and get going on it. So Kaiden's got us wired or mounted, ECU mounted. We're just wiring, plumbing ground, hot to the battery, ignition, positive, distributors in, coils in, mounted. Everything's looking good, lining up, looking pretty sleek. But I did want to point out, like, look at the size and just the overall aesthetic difference between the Aces and the FiTech. It's pretty big. I definitely like the Aces look a lot better. It's a lot more compact. I mean, the ECU and the wiring harness is a little bit more daunting of a task, a little harder to route, because you're kind of limited on space where you can do it. At least I am. But I think overall it's gonna look real good. Okay, quick update. We have the throttle body mounted, fuel lines ran, wiring harness almost complete. We're down to, I gotta get a good ignition key on while cranking. I need to run my tachometer out. What else do we need? Kaiden just ran to the store to grab some rubber grommets, some longer hose for the brake vacuum, the PCV valve, and other than that, as soon as he's back with that and I finish these two wires and I need to run the CAN cable into the interior for the handheld module. Other than that, we are pretty well ready to fire. It's looking good. We are with taking the FiTech off and changing everything over. I've been cleaning up wires as we go. It is 3 o'clock now. I started at about 9. So 3. So I'm 5.5, 6 hours with breaks, 6 hours, but including breaks and goofing off. So that's not too bad. I actually didn't think it would be that fast, but where I already had a Rob Mac surge pump, I already had bung in the exhaust for an O2 sensor. I already had most of all the wires and stuff ran. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So I'm liking it.